Well, we've been working. 6 rows of corn in, couple rows of beans. I got started on my wings. So that one there, that's permanent. It will get a cap. We'll paint that brown. And then that angle, first angle piece there, that's permanent. That'll get a cap. We'll paint that brown, just another 2x4. And then over on these ones, they're going to, I'm going to run all the way to the woods, and then same thing through the woods, and then all the way back around to that tree, and then the same thing on the other side down to the tree. So anyhow, yeah, these end pieces of fence, when I get them all the way across, we're going to have to be able to remove them in the spring so I can get in there and work this with the tractor. And we'll just be taking the screws out. I got a metal pole in here, and I'll do another metal pole so that'll be easy enough to pull out. And I'm just going to overlap the next piece of steel and screw right into it as well. And that will get all raked in, and it will be bunny proof and duck proof, and hopefully keep all the other animals out that like going in there and wrecking our garden. And if we start having issues with deer, we've already talked about just going up from all of these corner posts and running an electric wire around a couple of them. It's been a few years since I've had any deer in here. So we're just going to, hopefully this is enough to keep them out for now. If they start getting in there, well, then we're going to electrocute them. In the meantime, this guy just showed up. What are you doing? Huh? So I had to hang him in a tree. It's his nap time. He should be falling asleep any second. Beautiful day to be outside. It's supposed to rain at 1 o'clock. It is now like 1:30. It hasn't rained yet, so which is good because we didn't get near as much done as we thought we were going to get done. We're hoping to have it all planted before the rain started, and we've been out here since 7 o'clock this morning. So the rain's holding off, which is good. We'll keep working. Pretty quick here, we'll have the whole thing planted. Well, it still never rained. It sprinkled a little bit. It worked out well because we got all of the garden put in yesterday. And I was able to get the wings on around the flower box, around the strawberry box. And I'm going to add some steel to that and then fill that in with dirt. And then the trellis is going to end up getting mounted there, and I'm going to make doors that will close. And then I'm going to continue the fence at ground level from the trellis around to the back, all the way back around, and tie it back into that fence. So that one there, you see the first 2 panels are level, and then that one starts to go downhill. And then it'll be level from there all the way back around to here. And then this panel is going to be at an angle to get back over to here. And then of course there's a big height difference there, but it's the lesser of 2 evils. And I think it really works out well. Man, does it look nice from the driveway. You look over here and it just makes you want to walk over and say, what's going on behind that fence? What do they got that? And when these strawberries all come in, it'll be awesome. Like I said, we've got some rocks we're going to put from this corner over to that corner, and then this is going to be a garden with she told me leeks and maybe some chives. There's chives in it already. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side with asparagus along the fence. And the rhubarb. Our rhubarb, for whatever reason, just hasn't been doing well. She's got some other ones, so once we put the rocks in here, that'll raise it up probably 6 inches, and I'll fill all that in with dirt on both sides. And we'll have those 2 little mini gardens. Then we should be able to, that post won't be there, so we should be able to cruise between the pond and the tree and the fence with the lawnmower real nice like, and keep our yard nice. And my trail used to run right through there along the telephone pole and across, so we're just going to make the trail go where the gator goes now and around the garden. And then there's another trail over there, which is actually going to get moved to the back side of the pond as I continue to build that. So Supposed to possibly rain again today, but I wasn't taking the chance. We didn't do a lot of watering yesterday because it was supposed to rain. Well, I got the soaker hose out. I've got a post I'm gonna put in the middle of that row. That's tomato plants in the cages. I'm gonna put a post in the middle of that row, probably 10 or so feet out of the ground, and I'm gonna put my sprinkler up there, plumb it in, bury the hose along that row of tomatoes, and bring it up in, so that all we have to do is walk over and turn the valve on. And 10 feet up, it should catch the entire garden. It's 6 feet up. Last year I was getting pretty close to the entire garden, so 10 feet should be more than enough. And if not, well, then I guess I'll have to do a little bit of spot watering, but I'm hoping to catch it all in one shot. Major progress in the last 2 days. Got past the hard spots and was able to get the rest of the fence in, and it's gonna work out awesome. I've still got to make my gate. Right now I just have it screwed, or a piece of metal over it blocking it shut, but yeah, should keep the bunnies out, should keep the ducks out, and if the deer don't stay out, well, I'll add some electric fence wire to the top and that'll take care of them. I put some high corner posts in just in case I have to do that. We've got a little bit of dirt to add so the bunnies don't try to dig under. But I've had enough for 1 day or 2 days or whatever it was. All old tin that I had laying around. And I actually ran out. I had just enough. I had to take one thing apart to get the last 2 pieces, but it was something that didn't matter anyway. It was done, served its purpose. So, gonna be awesome. Gonna be freaking awesome. Now I gotta work on getting the dirt just to bury the bottoms in. You can see a little daylight here and there. And then the other 2 little flower gardens up front. And make the gate. So, couldn't be happier. It looks real nice from the yard. So, super stoked about it. Well, we got the strawberry garden done. We got the wings on. We got the fence all the way around the garden done. And now we got the wing planter boxes. Some old quarried limestone stacked up too high, filled with more of that good dirt. This is all out of where the pond's going to be. There's the digger. Takes about 2 and a little bit gator loads to fill them up. And this is our second one. Gator's still not dumping. This is all rained on twice as heavy as it was the other day. So, we're just slowly getting her filled in. Alright, so we've got pretty much all of it done at this point. I still need to make my gate, and I'm going to do a whole video on that when I go through the process of making it, I think. But we got our corn. Nothing's coming up yet. I'd be absolutely amazed if it was. And this is corn to the post, and then beans from there, and then here's a row of beans. This is tomatoes, and in between the tomatoes are radishes, because they'll be done way before the tomatoes get in the way. And then Brussels sprouts and cucumbers, and then our pumpkins and squash are in the next row, and they're planted to grow. We'll just train them to grow up that hill, because there's nothing planted up there. I do plan on putting potatoes at either end. We forgot about potatoes. Didn't get any seed potatoes or nothing. So here is the back line fence, and as I said, The plan would be in the spring to take the screws out of this fence and wiggle these posts, and hopefully me and the girls can pick this whole section, these 3 pieces here, pick this whole section up, just lean it up against the back fence. And then the same thing over there. You see I kept it level all the way across and then used the trellis to make the transition. And even that one's level, and then that next piece there I angled to get back to that grade where it hits this angle to come uphill. We do have a little bit of dirt to put there. We just, we made it all the way around to the corner, and I need to fill in just the dirt on that one there. So in the meantime, this is the low spot to hop in and out. We had this quarried limestone, so we got our rhubarb planted, the asparagus is planted, and we figured out why when the rhubarb was here it wasn't doing so well. It was root bound pretty bad. The ground was hard, and it was, so just in 2 days they're already looking better. So we really expect that rhubarb to pop now. Strawberries aren't showing any signs of coming up yet, but it's only been 5 days, 4 days, something like that. And a couple more rhubarbs over here, the chives. Your guess is as good as mine what that is. I really don't know. More asparagus. And asparagus we moved from another spot in the yard. And those weren't so much root bound as they were really deep. So they were like sprouting underground and just making more roots. So we ended up with triple the asparagus plants, and she spread those out. So nice little walk around the outside here. You can see we got the dirt all mounded up. It's been rained on. It's looking good. Should be just enough to keep the bunnies from trying to dig in. Keep all the other little critters out. I still do need to put my pole in the center and get my sprinkler up. That'll happen this week. So, and then I didn't have enough steel. Actually, I think this piece and the one in the middle there come from, they were next to one of my other sheds. They were just kind of stood up to stack stuff on. So my plan had been to go to the wood line and down. But this works out. My trail's still here. I'm going to get that telephone pole and cage out of there, and I'll just mow all the way to the woods. So this will still be a wide trail. And I still have the detour over this way. So best of both worlds. This is actually an old driveway I'm standing on. And you can see by the rocks in here. That's why we don't use up to the fence, because this is literally just, it's all been dump trucked in 100 years ago rock. And it's no fun to try to rototill. So I'm actually, every year I encroach into it a little bit, so eventually maybe we'll get to the fence, but for now that'll be a grassy walkway all the way around. And I really think this is going to be the best garden we've ever had. We always do really well. Again, here's that spot where I just got a little bit of dirt to add in. I got the stuff down in the hole. This is my pond area that I've been slowly digging. When I get some time, I hop in the machine. But every time I park it down here, it rains. So that's just it's literally happened 5 times now. I brought the machine down. A tank of gas, I get quite a bit done. I get a lot of digging done. It's a big hole, small machine. That's about max depth right there. But the nice thing is this will be the water level because I'm building it up all the way around. So I end up with 9-10 feet of depth there. So it's going to be just perfect for what I got going on. And that you'll see a lot more videos on that as I get it done. But this is going to wrap up the garden update. Hope you guys have a great week. I wished I could have put this much energy into digging for gold in a creek. But I think this is going to pay off a little better than the gold in Wisconsin. So this is going to feed us for a year. We always do really well at putting our food up and getting everything vacuum sealed and froze. So last year we had a lot of animal damage, and we didn't end up with much of a garden just because fences and critters getting in, ducks and geese and rabbits. So I think for many years to come, this is gonna do a great job for us, really. And all of this was done with resources I had laying around. Tiles were in my shed, the steel, it all came from different places, and we always just stack this stuff up and save it for a rainy day project, and here it is. The bike, I got that in a trade deal. A buddy of mine built that for another buddy of mine, and it actually, I have a brand new motor for it. It could have been cleaned up, and I've seen it rode, and I could have made it rideable again, but it's way cooler yard art. So plan on planting some vining stuff to grow around that trellis. And like I said, I got to build the gate, and I got to dig up my water line over by the house. It has a hole in it. I know right exactly where it is, so that's going to be coming up pretty quick here too, to get the water turned back on. But for now, we're just running the garden hose across. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and then you can watch more of these videos. Follow along on the journey. We'll be showing you how this goes all through the season. So thank you so much. See you on the next one.